Hi everyone. Today has been a horrible day. Um, I called 988 three times today. I tried to call the PSI hotline and they told me leave a message and they were going to call back within 24 hours. I didn't want to wait. I spoke to some people, a crisis team who came out to my apartment. I don't feel no better. I never should have gone back to my husband's. But my daughter was there. And then it was like, you want to spend $100 just to Uber down there, grab her, and come back? Or do you want to keep being stupid and keep trying to make up with this man you call your husband? This man who is your husband on paper. I get in his phone this morning because he's been checked out 12 hours a day on the game. Our daughter got sick whenever it was, a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, because she was so constipated. She started throwing up so much. I just burst out crying because I was scared. He left the game on. He was bringing the controller with him. He sat it on the banister right there while running her bath water, while them dudes was just playing and messing around. What did he do to comfort me? He put his arm around me, gave me a pat on the shoulder. All the other stuff that happened, I'm so confused. I can only tell you, this morning, I get in his phone again. He's texting back and forth with a coworker. And at first, guess what, y'all? I didn't see all the messages. I just saw 3 messages, right? But then I go into his deleted messages because, I kind of just found out that that was like a thing very recently, like in the past month. To make sure you go in his deleted messages, you paranoid, insecure wives and girlfriends. Don't ever forget that. So there's a whole 54 messages between him and some girl at work. He's telling her when he's on break and telling her come to the car. She sent him money 3 times that he's claiming it's for. All the 3 times was for a pen. Those pens that you smoke. And then he's texting her on his day off. She's telling him, oh, you better come back into work. All kinds of shit. When I saw the money on Cash App, when I saw the money she's sending him, my first instinct is, oh, he's just going around asking everybody for money, because he's done this before with, what was it, tobacco leaves or something, blacks. He's done this with blacks before, where he'll call his mom, ask for a black, call his brother, ask for a black, and then ask me for money, or ask me to get him a black. So he's done the little runaround before. So that's what the first thing that came to my mind was, oh, you got some other bitch giving you money. I don't care what it was for. I don't care. I don't care. Just, when was it? It was too recent that I went in his phone again, maybe a month ago at best. And I find that he downloaded again or never deleted Snapchat off of his phone, off the other argument, and was in a group chat with 2 other girls from his job. This was in January. And then I see a screenshot of a video call with these 2 girls at 5 in the morning while I'm here at the apartment. So, just to reiterate, we've just had this conversation. We've just had it. Then when you throw in the fact that the whole plate incident happened around this time, that he starts talking to these other coworkers, these other females. And I hate to say females. I hate to say that. These other girls at work. And then he's in messages with his male coworker talking about these girls. And I see a message where the dude says, oh, ever since you started talking to that girl, to those 2 girls, they don't want to talk to me anymore. They don't fuck with me anymore ever since you started talking to them. He had deleted messages from that too. From that conversation too. So, where am I? I'm at my apartment. Where's my daughter? After me confronting him about this, he says it's not cheating. He had an excuse the last time too why he needed to be on that FaceTime call, Snapchat call, whatever it was, why he just needed to be in that group. It was because he was worried he's going to get fired. Yet in the messages that were still left, the girl asked him, why would we get fired? Same story now. Same story. And then he says, oh, well, I was sending, look here. This says mama dude. That's a dude. This is a dude I'm selling the pen to. I said, well, you didn't delete any messages from their conversation. You didn't delete their whole entire conversation and just leave 3 messages. You not texting them when you're supposed to be moving house. Him and his family just moved homes Thursday. He's talking to this girl on Friday. We were together. Like, I was there. So it's like he's playing games, like I told you, for 12 hours straight, all day long, from the minute he gets up to the minute it's time to go to bed. So he's sitting there in his chair while I need help, because there's boxes everywhere that he won't put away. I'm tripping over stuff. I've asked him to move a certain box from in front of the door multiple times because we can't get in and out. He's too busy texting another girl at work. Another one. This is the third one. And then when you add in the bitch he got pregnant on me, this is the fourth. Yet he's not cheating, and he's not trying, and he doesn't want to. So y'all, all of this combined and some more shit. And some more shit. Because the thing that really ticked me off, not even is cheating to me. In the circumstance of our situation, it's cheating, right? If I say talking to your coworkers, exchanging numbers with other girls at work, being on the phone with other girls at work, texting other girls at work. If you cheated with coworkers before, why would you? It's common sense. So I had a full-on panic attack this morning. Could not breathe. This man was 10 yards away from me while I had my head in my lap. I can barely even lean over, right? Because I got my stomach. And I'm hyperventilating. And he's all the way over there. This man don't care about me. So the one thing that I cannot get out my head is I was in the I got in his Cash App because I'm like, is he sending money to some other girls? What is he using his money for? What is he using the money that I'm giving him? Is somebody else giving him money? On and on and on. Like, what's going on with his finances that I'm going broke? But he has a job and he's constantly asking me for money. So I get in there and see the brother-in-law's girlfriend's name. Something financial is going on where the brother-in-law is using his brother, trying whatever. And she's sending my husband money for his brother. Or some vice versa. When he claimed he didn't know this girl, wasn't close to her. But you're close enough to be sending money. Okay, whatever. I go on Facebook Messenger because that's where he talks to his brother at. The most. And so I'm going to check, like, does his brother know about this? Did his brother tell him to do this? So I'm going through their messages and I see my name, y'all. And this is about the day where, the video where I talked about the plate. Yeah, this is starting to make me look like, a pathetic, dirty ass, desperate pick-me bitch. Jealous, insecure, self-esteem non-existent, like negative billion. So, when he made that phone call to his brother in the middle of our argument, and then, the whole lying on me thing that he did. Yeah, so because he chose to lie on me, make it look like his brother's girlfriend was telling the truth and that I was lying, his brother's response in the text message, when my husband was like, he texted me back, and he kind of like paraphrased what was said. My husband's brother said, Shane needs to do better. Girl's name even told me, and then I don't remember the rest. The lie that she told. What's the next message? My husband agreeing that I need to do better. When I saw that, seeing the girl sending my husband money, like the coworker sending my husband money, even that there was a girl in his Cash App sending him money, again, I almost threw up. Seeing that, seeing another member of the family be all checking on me to my face and helping me with Delaney to my face and offering to do this for Delaney to my face. And then behind my back, he has the nerve to have an opinion on me when he does not really know me. None of these people really know me. And of all the things he could say, he said, I need to do better. So this morning, my husband wants to get up, like I told you, for the past 3-4 days. He's been spending 12 straight hours on the game, paying me kind of no attention. Today, when he knows it's an argument going on, some anger is going on, there's things that seriously need to be talked about. Today, he's all helpful with his family. Today, he wants to, unpack stuff. Today, he wants to start laundry so he can be in and out of the room so we can't talk, so I keep getting interrupted. Mind you, when I was talking last night, and I was trying to talk about this last night, because I've been trying to talk to him for 2 or 3 days now about a lot of stuff. Last night, when we finally start talking about it, the only reason we started talking about it is because I snapped. And then it gets flipped on me. So then he decides to turn the light off, get in bed, while we're supposed to be having this conversation. And his excuse was that he's trying to get our daughter to go to sleep. Every other night, he has to turn on the TV and ignore me some more. Just turn on anything, then instantly fall asleep and make me have to get up and turn the TV off. But last night, he, could suddenly go straight to sleep while we're supposed to be talking. So he lays down, swears he's not going to sleep. This has happened at least, I want to say, genuinely at least 10 to 15 times during our entire relationship, where we're finally talking. After so long of him avoiding it, and then it just so happens to be nighttime on a work night, then it makes me look like, oh, I don't want my man to sleep. I don't want him to be rested. I want him to stay up all night so he can be fucked up at work. Because remember how the last argument, he called me a bitch, and then it turned into, I didn't call you a bitch. I said you were acting like one. Then it turned into, you left for no reason. You needed an excuse to leave. You made something up. Then it turned into his mom contacting me 3 days later telling me I need to come back home or come get our daughter, because the insinuation to me was, you're so irresponsible and petty that you're messing up everybody's work schedule while you don't have to work. That's what happened last time I left to try to get away from this stuff and get some time to myself. Where was I going with that? But yeah, anyway, this morning I'm like, what could your brother possibly mean by saying I need to be better? I feel like it was be better, not do better, but be better. Either way. I said, what? I said, that doesn't really make context. I mean, that doesn't really make sense in the context of that situation. And then, of course, starts you're blowing that out of proportion. He didn't mean it like that. Why? You know what he meant. I'm like, what have y'all been talking about something behind my back that he, like, something has built up that you've been talking about, complaining about, and now he's coming out to say that? Because this situation is like cherry on top, so he feels like he needs to say that. My husband says, no, you're blowing it out of proportion. He's talking about that situation. It's like, it does make sense in the context of the situation. I asked him about 10 times, what does that mean? Why did you agree? And if you agree, what are you agreeing with? What do I need to be better at? What do I need to do better? How do I need to be better? Mind you, my husband's brother is younger than us. So I already don't like that. It's the same thing with his sister. I already don't like that. But on top of that, he has a son in a whole nother state that he barely ever sees. Because he was beating on his child's mom while she was pregnant. And just recently got fired from his job. Another one. He gets fired from his jobs. But because of all this stuff that my husband is letting his family do, everybody's watching, right? Nobody respects me. Everybody sees me as an incubator, a piece of shit, a piece of dirt, gum on the bottom of their shoe, a burden, an obstacle to seeing my daughter. So now everybody thinks they can have an opinion about me, no matter what they got going on. But I'm judging people, right? So I kept asking him, what do I need to be better at? I said, do I need to give you more money? When I went in my bank account, somehow $1,000. I have spent $1,000 in the past 2 weeks. And I know for a fact most of it is probably Uber Eats, DoorDashing. My husband asking me what's for dinner, and I don't feel like cooking because I'm not sleeping or I'm exhausted. Such and so on. After, didn't I just say a couple months ago, didn't I just complain about this? Same thing happened. I told him, I'm not buying you food. You need to figure it out. And then he starts, when things get better between us, he starts with the guilt trip, like, oh, you don't love me because you don't care if we eat. We need something to eat. I need something to eat. Can you get me some this? Can you get me some that? Then I see, of course, in the cash app, he's paying He's paying his coworkers and his friends back for getting him food. So he's already eating. He's going somewhere or somebody's getting stuff for him. He's just a user. I'm not gonna lie, that's not even the first coworker, and that's a dude right there. That's not the first dude coworker that I seen asking him, or just in reference to like feeding him. You know what I mean? Paying him back, whether it's paying the dude, him, my husband, paying him back for getting him food, or offering to bring him food, but at the same time, he's bothering me about food and acting like he's starving, you know? So that also made me mad because I don't never get paid back. And trust me, y'all, when I went in that Cash App and I hit the view transactions between me and my husband, $800. I just did his taxes, right? I just filed his taxes. When I got done, he asked me why didn't I file them as single so he could try to get more money, because he wasn't pleased with the amount that he was going to get back after taking out the child credit, right? Because that's not his and it's not mine. That's for our children. And it was like, what, 1,200, and he was going to get like 1,600. He wasn't pleased with that amount. So then he asked me, why did I file us married, filing jointly? Why didn't I file him as single? We got married October 2025. This is my first time being married, right, y'all? I looked clearly. I use Tax USA, y'all. I looked clearly to see what status I should use, because at first I clicked married filing separate. I didn't work. I don't have a W-2. But it said so, it was not qualifying like that. It said you have to pick married filing jointly. He was asking me, why'd you add your name? Why'd you add your name? I just followed the steps that Tax USA gave me. Right? Because he wanted more money. Then he was talking about, just let me keep 700. I said, for what? But y'all, after I seen that $800 that I've sent him, I don't even know what the time frame was. I hope it wasn't this year. But after that, I said, no. You can pay everybody else back. You owe me, and you'll still be in debt $100. So you're not getting that 700, because we had agreed. I had just let it go. He told me we not gonna buy. I had picked out the Graco convertible car seats, right? Because I'm the only one who cares about the fact that, Delaney can't fit in the Duna no more. She's too big. She needs a big girl front-facing seat now because she's over 40 pounds. I'm the only one who's been looking for car seats. I found the car seats. He tells me we don't need that expensive of a car seat. That's not exactly what he said. He said we're not paying $650 for car seats. These car seats are those convertible. It's a newborn rear facing, front facing booster, and then the taller booster, and then it goes into like the seat. So Something to the effect of, all I'm hearing is our kids are not worth that money and he needs it. At the end of the day, that's all I'm hearing. So, but no, not anymore. Because you can pay people back $25 for McDonald's. He was paying the other girl back, who he was cheating on me with. He pays everybody back except me. Because I'm dirt, remember? I'm dirt and he just uses me. But no. No. You don't know what the hell you gonna use $700 for. You can't tell. My husband can't tell me what he's gonna use $700 for. To do some stuff for us. Like what? No response. No answer. Okay? No. But get this. In the middle of me doing his taxes, he tries to hand me his game controller because, of course, he was playing the video game while I'm doing his taxes. Yet has the nerve to complain when I don't get him the maximum refund because I didn't commit tax fraud by hitting him as single when we were married in the time frame. So, in the midst of me doing his taxes, he tries to hand me his controller. He sets his controller down for me and says, "Make sure I don't die. Make sure I don't die." I didn't know I had 3 children already. I did not know I had 3 children. I said, "Are you crazy? I'm doing your taxes. I don't care if you die." He said, "You don't care if I die?" I said, "Not on the game." What is going on? Y'all. Every day I ask this dude now, did I marry? Are you a 10-year-old? Are you 10? Oh my God. And it's making me disgusted at my mother-in-law. Like, you're not ashamed that somehow your son ended up like this? The other ones ain't none of my business. But you're not ashamed that he's ended up like this. They had to dictate where they moved because of his bullshit that he got going on with the ankle monitor. He can't live certain places. So they had to adjust where they live, where they moved to just now. Bruh. So then then that came up. The $800 that he doesn't feel, that I didn't know it was that much that I was sending him. Like, wow. You know, coupled with all that, I'm not cheating on you. What were we talking about? I guess you can't read. He literally told me I can't read. I guess you can't read. What were we talking about? We weren't flirting. We was talking about work. So I truly almost hurt him. I did. But no. Then I got up. I wasn't trying to be around him. Then came the cheating accusations again. Oh, you just want an excuse to leave. Why are you dressed? I've been wearing this since I didn't sleep last night. He slept. He fell asleep perfectly fine. Like I said, while in the middle of a conversation. Yeah. When he could stay up all night playing video games, but you know, I'm not worth I'm not worth shit. I'm a worthless bitch who deserves to have food thrown in her face. And cheated on. And called a liar, manipulator, be lied on. Oh, it's over. He's done. He's cheating. He's cheating. He just wants to be with somebody else. That's okay. But then, of course, it came down to, yeah, at first I was like, do something with Delaney. I was like, I just want to leave. But then I'm thinking, oh, I leave her here. Guess what's going to happen again? His mom don't give a fuck about me either or what I'm going through. I'm just the babysitter while everybody goes to work and does real adult shit. I need to be at home because I'm the fucking house slave. So then I'm thinking about last time I left. It was only 3 days and she's in my messages talking about I need to come back home. Either come back home or come pick our daughter up. Because, oh, her one son is sick. And I've been taking off work. I didn't know that. Why are you taking off work? Why is grandma taking off work when this is my husband's daughter? To the point where I had to ask my husband, who makes the most money and whose check does it make sense? If y'all can't get it together, why do you feel emboldened to call me a bitch and disrespect me like this? If you can't get it together without me, if you need me, why are you calling me a bitch? And I stayed asking him, what did you tell everybody why I left for? You know what he probably told them? The whole, I don't even know if he tried to admit that he said the lie, which was, oh, I'm acting like a bitch. I think he probably tried to paint it as a petty episode and tried to tell them I'm just up here cheating. So I just wanted to be with my other man. And that's why I left. So I could be petty and make him miss work. Anyway, eventually he has some kind of response for what he was agreeing with his brother about my behavior in regards to, and he said it was me spazzing. Y'all know what spazzing is, right? Spazzing. I'm not hood. I was born in the suburbs. So I'm pretty tired of my behavior, my reactions, my expressions of anger being turned into spazzing and described as spazzing. Can't even just say she's upset. She's really hurt. Can't never say that. That's never come out of my husband's mouth. Spazzing. And then sometime after that in the conversation, he tried to say, you were doing better. Let's go to Urban Dictionary because you always kind of like somewhat know the meaning of something, but you never really know the real meaning of a slang word sometimes. Spazzing or spazzing out means acting in an erratic, hyperactive, or uncontrollably clumsy manner, often accompanied by high emotion, like anger or excitement. Examples: emotional outbursts. Mom spazzed out when she smelled cigarette smoke. He spazzes on everyone when he loses at the game. These are just examples I'm being given. So that's how he's choosing to describe my behavior. And that's how everyone's choosing to describe my behavior as petty, even when it's down to him taking care of his daughter financially. That's good to know. Synonyms: freaking out, losing control, throwing a tantrum, flipping out, acting erratic, chaotic. Okay. So that's what he thinks his brother has the right to even comment on. To even comment on your brother's wife's behavior. To have the gall, regardless of everything going on, just in general, and for you to agree. Okay. So then I wanted to leave. Then it became a you can't leave, I'm not letting you leave situation because you're talking crazy and I don't know what you're going to do. But I kept telling him, I don't want to be around you. I hate you. I'm tired of you. That was the last straw. I hope you find somebody else. I don't want to be involved in none of this no more. On and on and on. I said, I'm done. I'm done. At some point, I'm like, well, I want Delaney to come with me. Then he snatched her up. Remember how I just told y'all how he told me to wait to give her medicine that day? Did I even get to that part? Where when the medicine that I ordered for her, so she could finally get her poop out that was stuck and backed up, it was a suppository, a baby suppository. And I just wanted to get it over with. And I needed him to hold her down. He was sitting there on the bed playing the game. And I said, "Okay, let's do this real quick. Let's get this stuff together real quick so we can do this." He told me to wait until he finished that match to give our daughter medicine after she'd been throwing up. She threw about 4 times, 4 or 5. He genuinely told me to wait until he finishes this match. Then he had the courtesy to say bye to all his little friends on the game. As I'm saying this, y'all, I feel like I might be ready to see my mom. I won't lie to you. I won't lie. All of this within the past, I don't know, 2 weeks. We're not even mentioning my own personal issues that has popped up with like my electric bill. My electric about to be shut off tomorrow if I don't fess up. $500 something apparently. Yeah, late fees. So I didn't expect to come back here. I was gonna let it shut off because the reinstatement fee was $175. I'm thinking in my head, why would I pay $500 if it's cheaper to let it go out and then get it whatever? Surely that's probably not how it would have worked. This is my first time dealing with stuff like this. You know. Then on the way down here, I'm like, let me see. I log into my account and now it says 7 something. I believe I've only been here 1 day this month. So if it's not the late fees, but then I looked at the graph. I don't know. I gotta turn this fan on, y'all. But matter of fact, let me. Last time I was here, I just had this heat on. It was the only one in the room. I mean, in the whole apartment. I unplugged the other stuff. So I'm assuming it's just late fees. I don't know. But yeah, so I need to be better, and his little brother agrees. Yep. Yeah. Just like his little sister telling me off about our daughter looking up to me. So I need to get it together. And everybody's gonna pretend that wasn't said to me. Then it's an opinion that I need to be better. Anyway, he wasn't letting me leave by myself at first, and then he wasn't letting me take our daughter with me So I finally had to be like, you realize that's my mom's granddaughter, right? My world, the way I grew up, your grandma, your grandma for real, is your mom's mom, right? I called my dad's mom Grandma Marge. I call her grandma, and her nickname for Margaret. That was her name. But my mom's mom was just grandma, right? So I just had to be like, you realize that, right? And then I said, you kind of realize I'm still grieving, right? Like, where did I have time to process anything that's been going on outside of therapy? Right. He also said that I must be lying to my therapist. There was a lot of things said this morning that I regret, talking to him about my doctor's appointments, or even the fact that I was seeing anybody. Like, it's gotten to that point. Because I said, did I lie somehow to my prenatal doctor? Did I lie to the girl who did my anatomy scan too? Do I lie to doctors? He tried to say, oh, this is a different type of doctor. Man's never been to therapy in his life. He doesn't know what happens in therapy, besides some shit he sees on TV. Then there's been a situation where he keeps telling me he doesn't know anything about me and kind of making this little joke. Now it's been 3 or 4 times he said this joke that I'm like a spy, that I'm like one of those like ops, I guess, like a spy, a girl that they send to seduce guys and get pregnant by them and like get them locked up in jail. Yeah. Don't he sound a little bit schizophrenic? But we must be getting to him at the very least. I don't know. So somehow you don't know me, but we have 2 children and we're married, and this is your excuse for why you can't stop cheating, because you don't feel close to me. I'm not vulnerable enough. No one knows my real personality. But as I've started talking to him more about I don't know what he's asking for. He asked me a set of questions from ChatGPT, making me think that he was thinking up specific questions that he needed to know about me that I wasn't addressing. But really, he just went on ChatGPT and was like, 15 questions to ask my wife. 15 deep questions to ask my wife. I just picked some. And so when he started asking me these questions, I'm like, I thought, and I asked, like, what are you referring to? What are you trying to say that I'm not telling you or you don't know about me? What do you want to ask me? And then he was like, well, I just want to know about your life outside, like the bad stuff. I just want to know positive stuff. I'm like, okay, can what like what? I said, are you talking about childhood? What are you talking about? He started to say stuff like lies, of course, because I've shown him pictures. He started to say stuff like, well, I don't know what your sister looks like. I don't know what your other siblings look like. And just stuff like this. So the other day I came up here the one day because I had to get our daughter's social to be able to do his taxes. I brought back my memory book with just it was from my half sibling's mom a couple years ago as a graduation. It might have been a graduation or like birthday gift of a picture book, and it was gonna be like me starting out as like a baby and some like childhood photos that she had that I hadn't seen, and then I was gonna fill up the rest, which I did. It's 0 to graduation, birth to graduation. So I was like, oh, maybe he like means. I'm like, oh, have I shown him many like baby pictures like that? Like I know I've seen some of his. So I'm thinking that's what he means. So I'm showing him the pictures. He's playing the game while I was. And then he was mad because I didn't answer the phone. I don't know if I'm going to post the video, but I was really out of it that day. I was exhausted. And that's when I seen that $500 bill. Yeah, he was no support to that. It was kind of like, yeah, dumb kind of vibe from him. I was extremely stressed out. Had just got the news, time's ticking for him. He had just told me the day, like 2 days prior, that his lawyer was kind of asking him like, all right, well, what you trying to do? You trying to take this to trial or take, I guess, I don't know. Basically, things are starting to wrap up. Like, ever since then, I really started getting stressed out. So, it might have been the Saturday before last. Came down here. I had a lot of trash to get rid of and a lot of nonsense to do, but I was paralyzed, kind of, with the stress of it all. After I seen that bill, I was kind of like checked out. So he decided to start blowing me up. I didn't answer the phone. And I texted him back later, a little bit later, and I was just like, I'm really overwhelmed right now. I'm having a breakdown. He was no support. He just said, oh, I'm sorry. He texted me back. He's like, I'm sorry you feel that way, baby. With a emoji. Now it's just plain in my face, y'all, isn't it? Whatever, whatnot. So, I didn't come home when I was supposed to because I ended up falling asleep. On and on. He tried to turn that into suspicious, and again, the cheating accusations when this is, I just told you was what he's been doing since we got married. Since he got his job instantly, as soon as he was around other girls. Anybody. Just anybody. So he was playing the game while I was, talking to him, like talking through the pictures in the book. So I was kind of like, okay. And then he had like snapped at me twice. And I was finally like, what is going on with you? Then he complained about how, I was acting suspicious, not answering the phone, how I didn't communicate properly, I didn't do it right. I should have told him as soon as he starts blowing me up. I was looking at the phone while he was calling me. Therefore, I'm dating. I don't know. But then it's like, yeah, that's the whole reason I avoided the phone calls. They were like rapid. So by the time I like, I don't know, I was already beyond stressed out to the point where I just put my phone on silent and turned it upside down. Then he said he was only blowing me up because Delaney was saying mama a whole bunch. Then he tried to turn it into, no, you know why I was calling you so much. I was worried about you. Trying to pull the whole, I'm the bad guy because I wanted to check on my wife because she wasn't home when she said she would be. Anyway, y'all, back to today. Starting to get upset. Then he said, you're one of those people who use children as pawns, or however he phrased it. You use children against people. Same thing that his sister said right in front of his mom and him when I was, having morning sickness, feeling just very, very bad. Y'all, I've never had the stomach flu. Yeah, I've never had the stomach flu, but the first time that I got sick, like rapidly, was only, I was like, I was with him still. And it was a food poisoning incident. It was food poisoning. And that was the first time I had food poisoning. And the first time that I had, well, it might not have been the first time. I might have had like the stomach flu once when I was little. But obviously, stuff like that only be lasting like a day or 2 days at best. I never been, morning sickness is like a whole different beast going on and on for weeks. So, yeah. I was going through that. He was, helping me clean up my puke, but also calling me lazy and saying that I have energy to do what I want to do, but it's a problem every time he asks me to do anything and all that, and also letting his sister say stuff like that to me that I'm being controlling over our daughter because I don't want her around complete strange men. I don't want her around girls who are acting jealous of her or hostile toward me, hateful toward me. Yeah. She said I was controlling for that and said I was using my daughter as a pawn because I caught her ignoring my daughter, kind of projecting there, ignoring her when she felt like, and then giving her attention whenever I was gone. Yeah. So now that's been said to me twice. So, you know, he said that to me, and then he said, "Oh, you don't want to be responsible for a child. You don't want to take responsibility for anything." And of course, he finally signs the paper that would, put him legally as her dad because he wasn't there at the hospital. Finally, after all these months, you guys, he tried to say out loud so everyone can hear him that I was hiding the paper from him. I pointed up in the closet. I said, he's like, where is it? Where is it? I'll sign it right now. I've been trying to sign it. You've been hiding it from me. You wouldn't give it to me. Give it to me. I said, it's up there. I pointed to my book bag. And I said, look for it. Put any effort into your daughter. Please look for the paper. Y'all, it took him all of 5 or 10 seconds. In that book bag was so much stuff from the hospital. So multiple different folders. But somehow he knew which folder it was. It was 4 folders in. He stopped 4 folders in. He didn't even look at my face. And he opened it. He started going through it. And he found the paper. 10 seconds. I said, yes, so how was I hiding that from you? You found that how quick? Then he started trying to demand that I tell him, where am I supposed to send this? This doesn't go downtown. Where am I supposed to send this? I'll take this tomorrow. I got to go downtown tomorrow. I said, it's probably on the paper, and if it's not on the paper, you can look it up yourself. I said, you're grown, you can find it. He said, I'm grown, I can tell him. I also said that I'm watching too much YouTube, and is this because of those YouTube videos you watching? And I'm like, what YouTube videos are you talking about? Are you like going through my watch history? What are you talking about? I'm just alluding that I'm making everything up, I'm doing everything on purpose. Like, I'm manipulative. That came out of his mouth. Like, I'm a manipulative liar. That word is so triggering to me now. Like, after dealing with my dad, it's so triggering. Yeah. He told me to put my purse and my bag down because he wasn't gonna let me leave. So we ended up on the front porch or whatever. then I reminded him, because I told him last time, I was like, when I'm coming to get Delaney, I am not trying to come back. I'm not comfortable there. I'm not comfortable there with your family, and I'm not trying to come back. And we will have to work something out through some kind of third party. This is what I told him last time that we argued after the whole bitch thing. Yeah. So then I remind him again, like, now I'm solidly like, I want nothing to do with your family. I'm sorry. We're not getting along. I don't want anything to do with your family. He turned it into, I don't want to get along with anybody. Yeah. I couldn't breathe. I really couldn't breathe. So, and it was just me spazzing. Just me spazzing. Yeah. Obviously, what pops into my head is, when I was pregnant with my daughter, and all this shit that he did, everything that I found out was going on, him getting locked up, getting confronted suddenly by the detectives 2 months after my mom passed away, just a month after her memorial. I don't even think it had been 2 months since my mom passed away. It was like a month since her memorial. Then I'm finding out he cheated the whole time and just all this. Then he was on the jail phone telling me he never had a gun, and that's the day I lost it. Then, I felt that pain in my stomach and told my dad, like, hey, like, I need to check on the baby. He knew I wasn't getting no prenatal care. Everybody just, he tells me, no, I don't need to go to the ER. The baby's fine. Takes me and drops me off there at the ER by myself to go to the store. Then he went home. Y'all know the whole story. I don't even remember if I told this story like in full. I probably made like reference to it. Yeah, the whole thing where my heart rate was like approaching like 120. I couldn't even feel my heart beating, and I was in stress-induced preterm labor, and I thought I was going to give birth alone. And then, when I got home from that whole ordeal, my husband's mom and his sister took me home because they were the only people that I could call. When they hooked me up and were like, and I was at the labor and delivery hospital by myself, and it was like, oh my God, like, we need to calm her down, or else I guess they were going to give me an emergency C-section right there. Yeah, so they took me home, and it was like approaching like 12 o'clock. And then I get in the house, and my dad's walking down the hall, turning the light off, no concern about me, hasn't contacted me, nothing. And then, he makes his little joke about why didn't I walk home from the hospital instead of call them. Yeah. That's kind of what that reminded me of. But of course, my husband didn't say anything. He just like stood there and didn't do anything. He didn't come close to me. He was like super far away from me. Like, Like, I totally understand. Like, him getting sick of me or resenting me or whatever. You don't have anything to say about it. What can you say about that? Like, it's obvious from the plate incident, whatever's going on, he doesn't want to be together anymore. It's fine. But I wish I wasn't just sitting here trying for no reason. I wish I would have kind of like known instead of it getting to this point. Where, you know, like it's a whole thing behind my back going on, just like my family, where it's kind of like she's stupid and she's not getting the hint, so let's just push her out. This is what I kind of feel like my family did after my mom passed away. So, yeah. So, yeah, eventually it starts going back and forth like, you're not gonna take her from us, and you're not all this. And I was just like, you know what? Because she had fell asleep eventually, and she was like laying in the bed with the bottle in her mouth, and I came in to get my purse in my bag because I was just like, I just decided to call the Uber and come back. My husband was being like, oh, well, if you try to block everybody, you're talking kind of crazy, and if you try to block everybody and we can't get in contact with you after you leave, you're gonna like send the police to my door or whatever for a welfare check. I told him, you know, the police like to kill black women who are showing like any type of mental, you know, they said they like to kill black women too. It's besides the point. But then I was just like, you can have her. I told him, like, I went back outside and he ended up back outside. Like, he was going in and out. There wasn't any real conversation being had. He was just like going in and out. And so I went out and then he came back out. And I was just like, I'm not going, I really, like, I just can't handle the court stuff. I said, I don't want to deal with the police at my door. I don't want to talk to the police anymore. I don't want you involving me with the police anymore, or the court system, or the legal system at all. I say, you can just have her. And then I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do about baby boy. And he was like, well, if you don't want him, I'll take him too. And then the Uber got there. I just left. And I'm just like, kind of, I was worse earlier, obviously. And then I called 988 again and I asked for them to like bring actual people out for the first time. So two people came to my door. They came in the apartment and I spoke to them about what was going on. And, they just made me my like 1,000th safety plan. I've done at least like 5 safety plans, in my 20s. Obviously, they kind of don't work. It was to the point where it's like, she's like, what's that one therapy? I'm like, yeah, DBT. Yeah, I did that. And it was almost comical because we were in the living room and I was sitting at my desk and my DBT workbook was right there. So, she's like, what's that one therapy? I'm like, DBT. And then like a freaking sitcom, I just reach over and show the book like, yeah, it didn't work. CBT didn't work for 3 months, even though I graduated my program. You know, let them know how I've been seeing my therapist for, I think, since May. Since May. I started seeing her May 2025. So, yeah, I've been seeing her for a while, and she's awesome, but I've reached that point where it's like, it's not enough. And like, I'm also at that place where it's like, I don't know how to kind of like tell her it's not enough. And then also, like, I'm paying out of pocket, so I'm kind of like spacing out sessions and stuff. My husband even made a little slick comment like today, during all of this, y'all. You wouldn't imagine. Like, after he said I must be lying to my therapist, he was like, don't you have a session today? Kind of like backhanded. Like, you psycho. Aren't you past due for your meds? Kind of vibe. But yeah, I've been like debating that. Like, okay, am I gonna do something more intensive? Am I going to keep just going up this therapy escalator, or is it not working for me? And I just do need to go on some kind of medication because it's like kind of doomed neurologically. I don't know. So I've been debating that. Obviously, it's for after I give birth that I would be, finding a psychiatrist and doing that. But some part of me is kind of like, this kind of seems like an emergency situation now. I don't know. So it's just kind of like the same thing that happened the first time. I feel like people are going off the rails because I'm pregnant and I'm vulnerable and I'm alone and I don't know. I don't know what's going on with my husband. Whether this is just like a natural progression of like the relationship deteriorating, or whether this is kind of about him knowing that he's going away again. Because I talked to 3 different ladies on the 988. Like 2 of them I talked to extensively, like this morning. And one of the women was kind of in a similar situation to mine. She had been in, down to even how big her baby was when they were born. So she was like sharing that with me, and she was kind of like, no, it was the second lady that I talked to. She was kind of like speculating when she heard that he was going to prison soon, 90% positive, because he still thinks he's gonna somehow get out of it. I don't know how you get out of shooting somebody with as a felon already. I don't know what's going on in his head, but that's the state of mind that he's in, where it's either denial or he's like so emboldened that he thinks he can really get away with anything. I don't know, but when she found that out, she was kind of like, do you think he's kind of doing this in a weird way to like push you away before he has to go away for a couple years? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I didn't think about that. But knowing my husband, I just don't feel like, I feel like that would be, if that's what he's trying to do, is very, very excessive. I don't think it's that. I think this is just like a lot of resentment and hatred built up over like what's been going on between us. So either way, it's not okay with me. And yeah, so that comment, I need to be better, it was like sending me down a spiral. Now the question has gone from, do I want a divorce or separation? It has escalated so bad to, am I fit to be a parent, or should I just give my children to his family and just let them take care of them? And it's like, I'm probably gonna make a separate video because this is a whole separate type of issue. So there's gonna be a part 2 to this.